wanted to do an update. So, as I have been vlogging about, I live somewhere where the previous person who lived in this room, unfortunately, she passed away, and I think that it might have been due to the conditions of this room because there's no airflow. It's super stuffy. It's on the first floor, and even with me taking out the screen and leaving the window open, I just cannot get any cross draft. And I run a fan, and and after a while, like having a fan running, I've had the fan running basically for 2 months, and your hearing starts to go, and it's kind of stressful to have a fan on every time you're in a space. So the past few days, I have had the fan off, and it's such a relief to not have this 70 decibels machine running when you're trying to sleep at night. However, then I learned, so right over here, the 70 decibels fan for the boiler room that adjoins my room, which is probably why this room is so stuffy and muggy. And of course, the laundry room is right next to my room as well. So all that racket gets made, and then right where this window is, it faces a building that has a rattling, industrial commercial fan going. So it was the night before last that I figured out that there was the laundry room fan, because I would sleep by the window in hopes of getting just one breath of fresh air, and um, I would hear a fan running so loud my ear would be like, it'd feel muffled. It would feel like my hearing was affected by the next morning from sleeping next to the window. Okay. And so I'm in Missoula, which is a place with less than 1% vacancy rate, and it's all pro landlord. Like, tenants have no rights. And I mean, you can talk to advocacy groups, and it's a waste of your time. Not only is it a waste of your time, those advocacy groups or government organizations supposedly running, representing the public good, are making money off of wasting your time, your precious time, your precious energy. Oh my gosh, I cannot even begin to tell you what an outrageous disappointment it is. But I don't know. So once I figured out that the fan was going right next to my room for the boiler, and then the place across the street, uh, it was 1 in the morning a couple days ago. So I emailed the landlord, and living situation, especially, like if you know people who have died, take a look at their space, because this room, before I came in, there was a dryer vent going right under my window. So I had to tell the property manager, hey, can you make the laundry vent not go right under my window? And if you look at my previous videos, you can see my window was coated with this rainbow sheen of stuff from the laundry soap equipment, or the laundry soap. And not only was that making this a death trap, so there's no airflow in the room. Uh, all the fans were going. Long story short, I know I'm rambling here, but it's 7 in the morning and it's quiet. I can hear like my blood pressure. It's like it's been like 2 months since I've been living here that it's actually quiet. And in the previous place I lived, if you watch my other video, like there was one of those. I lived right next to a restaurant, so it had one of those um, loud, you know, uh, I don't even know what it's called, but it was a vent for the restaurant, which was made a racket, and of course there was just tons of traffic going on. And then before I lived there, I lived downtown, so there was tons of traffic. So I think that it's been like over 2.5 years since I've lived somewhere, since I've had a night's sleep where it's been quiet. I mean, except for like Thanksgiving or Christmas when it felt like a spooky ghost town, it was so quiet. But it's been like 2.5 years uh, since I've had some peace and quiet. And I don't know, somehow the fans aren't running. Maybe the landlord actually is not having the 70 decibel uh, fan going because it was running from midnight to 5 a.m. Like, why would you have uh, uh this running a fan running uh, midnight to 5 when people, like, all the tenants would have to listen to this loud fan? I don't know, but that's Missoula logic, I'm assuming, I'm guessing. But if you're watching from other states, let me know. Like, are other states as property managers as cool about like having no airflow in an apartment? Like, this is a vacuum seal apartment or vacuum seal building, and yet this very apartment has the exhaust for the entire building. So the whole building is vacuum sealed, why do I make such bad choices for places? And it's like there's very little affordable housing, and the affordable housing that is available in Missoula is like death trap. I swear. Like the last three places in the past 2.5 years have been death traps. And I'm coming at um I'm trying to uh make good decisions, but it's just the opposite options presented in Missoula are just so horrible. And uh, you know, I and I'll end with this. Like I talk, because I'm struggling, because life is a challenge. Uh, like since I don't know, I was going to one very popular support group, and one of my mentors in the group was like, I would talk about how difficult it was to cross the street here safely, because drivers here could be generally, as a rule, they're reckless. Like they're irresponsible drivers in Missoula, and if these Missoulians were driving in any other city or state, they'd have their license taken away, sober, you know. Um, and this mentor was saying, I just need to think positive. She was telling me I was just being too negative. Basically, that being realistic was the problem. Like paying attention to reality was the problem. And I left that um, support group, and I I have since um, come to believe in Jesus, thanks to Missoula's horrible quality of life for somebody who's not a third generation Montanan, for somebody who doesn't drive, for somebody who's on a limited income. The deep lack of conscience of Missoulians, not to mention what's going on in the world, and what's been going on in the world, it's all led me to Lord Jesus Christ, for which I'm grateful. I'm grateful that Missoulians are like the depiction of what I see in uh, books about Revelation and the end times, the days of Lot and the days of Noah. People might say, oh, California is like the days of Lot and Noah. Mm-mm. No. Californians are generally nicer people, as a whole, whereas I would say Missoulians are oh my goodness. I mean, shame. Shame on you, Missoulians. For shame. For shame. I've, like, oof. I hope you find Jesus. That's all I can say. But, so I've met Christians, um, one of which who was discussing yet another harrowing experience trying to cross the street. And they were, and so I was like, I want to move from Missoula. I just can't handle another winter where it's icy streets and drivers are trying to run me over. And this person was telling me that I need to pray harder and, have a closer relationship with God. And my point is that doing affirmations or doing prayer all are good things, but it doesn't change statistics, or it hasn't in my 30 years of praying and meditating and doing positive intentions. So I guess, and I guess maybe that's just the human experiences. People don't want to hear what's going on, um, and they give you empty platitudes. And that's more so here in Missoula, because when there's been difficult things in California, you could say, hey, such and such is a difficult thing, and people weren't like, even though I was hanging out with, uh, new age self help junkies like myself, like people weren't in denial, like saying, well, you just need to think positive when, you know, you're stressing about whatever. But you come to Missoula and people are like, you know, just the hugest amount of denial, um, in the so-called healthy, respectable, responsible population. It's just, I'm like, what did I get myself into? Why did I come here? And the thing is, like, Missoula is so pretty, so it was just like, it was just such a, it's just so funny. Like, you would think a place so beautiful would be a good place, and it's like, it's the opposite. So, what a long diatribe, I know, but anyways, it's just quiet. It's I'm having like a quiet morning, and even though it's taken like over 2 years, almost 3 years, and even though the room is stuffy as anything, just that it's quiet, it's awesome. And hopefully, this will happen after midnight or after 10 p.m. for the next several months until I leave Missoula. Anyways, thank you for listening. And if you have suggestions of good places where the people are decent people, where drivers don't think they get to judge whether you get to cross the street when you're following the law, like where they're not being all picky. Where if you do get anywhere, it's like it's uh, it's just I don't know. It's just too it's not worth it. It's not a good environment. Speaking as somebody who's grown up in New York, lived in other major cities, um, oh my goodness. All I can say is, what did I get myself into? And yeah, if you have any prayers you can send me, I would appreciate it. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going after Missoula. So, but I really want to leave. I want to be out of here by December at the latest. Oh, I mean, hopefully sooner than that, before the ice forms and everything. So, anyways, God bless you, and bye.